Well, great to meet you,
Hi,
Lemon.
you too.
You look amazing. Maybe best Zoom I've had in a long time already.
You know what? I'm serving my Canadian pride, and I may have been sitting here for a while, but honestly, I love talking about myself.
I love it. So are you in Chicago still, or did you make it out?
I am, yeah. I'm in Chicago. I performed last night at Roscoe's, and so I'm still here. My flight is later tonight, assuming that the snow doesn't keep me here forever.
Well, you could go with me to see Nina West in Hairspray if you want.
Ooh, well, you know what? Maybe I'm canceling my flight then.
So how was Roscoe's? Tell me about that. I would have gone out.
It was incredible. It's so fun to perform in new cities, but specifically, I have such a love for Chicago drag, and I follow so many queens from here. And I think, I think New York has a reputation for producing incredible drag queens, but I think Chicago produces the most sickening queens. So and kings and other performers, and so I was just, it was something I've always looked forward to doing. And I think anytime you get to perform in, like, a bar that you've heard of and seen and been to is like surreal. Even when I first performed in Toronto's bars, it's like, oh, I used to walk past this when I was a kid, and it's so cool to finally get on stage. And so it was amazing.
we didn't talk about pronouns. What are your pronouns that you prefer?
Oh, I usually she, her in drag, he, him, out, they, them, whenever. But honestly, I'm as long as I'm being addressed with respect.
Yes, absolutely. And then did you always want to do drag? When did you start?
No, there was actually a really long time where I did not think of drag so highly. I was, under the impression that it was something different than it is. And when I went to New York, I went into a bar one night and I saw this queen. Her name is Jasmine Rice LaBeija, and she is perfect. She is a Juilliard trained opera singer. She's a ballroom legend. She's a pageant girl. She's a New York mic host. She is hilarious. She's stunning. She's perfect. And I just remember sitting there and watching her come out and watching her perform. And she owned the room in a way that I've never, ever, ever seen a single performer do. And I just was so in love with the idea of, like, I want to do that. Like, I want to do that. And so I started going to all of her shows, and I started doing my own thing. And eventually I worked really hard, and I worked up the courage to say hi to her. And now she's my drag mom. So it's very cool to, be doing the thing that I love. But I think drag is like confusing, I think, for some people, because there's not really a definition of what it is. It's just like, you go to a drag show and every person is completely different. It's like, well, then what are we doing here? But I think that's what's so exciting about it and so liberating about it, is that you really get to decide not just your hair and your outfit, but you get to decide what songs you're performing, what voice you're speaking in, and what performance you're going to do. I just felt like I had so much creative control. And as an artist, that was something that I was just so drawn to.
Yeah. Does Lemon have a last name?
No, just Lemon.
Yeah, because some of the drag queens have a very explicit last name. So I was wondering, if you were hiding any.
No, I really wanted like a pop star name that no one would ever, forget or pronounce wrong. And so Lemon's perfect, because when you're in a really loud club and someone's like, "What's your name?" I'd be like, "Lemon," and they're like, "Oh, like the fruit," and I'm like, it saves a lot of time. I feel like if you have a name that's hard to spell or something, you end up in the bar being like YSL, you know what I mean, and you're just like screaming YSL, LOL. But it's Lemon was perfect because I don't like to yell in clubs.
Just throw a lemon at them. I loved from the beginning. I loved how branded you were and how you stayed on that brand and really made that whole, because a lot of people get on the show and they're just not put together sometimes. And you were from the get-go impressive with everything, I thought.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I think Lemon came to me in a dream, like the name, and she just felt so clear as to who she was already. And I think that, Lemon is like a culmination of all of like the best parts of me that I always wanted everyone to know. And then she's also kind of a culmination of all the things about myself that I thought were like embarrassing. Like I definitely talk too much. I always thought like I might be a little stupid. I'm like, so all the things that I was like worried that people might think about me, I just made like big parts of Lemon. And I think that that kind of made me fall even deeper in love with like myself too, because it was like, I get to cherish the good and the bad.
Yeah. For the UK versus the world, did they just call you up, or how did you get cast? How did that happen?
Oh, you know what? I think you'll have to audition to find that out,
Okay.
I
Like the whole
think
process?
I think that's a trade secret, wouldn't you say?
I mean, I just wondered if, yeah, well, I guess I'd have to ask the casting people, but I didn't know if you had to jump through hoops again, or if they were just like, okay.
There may have been some hoop jumping, but I think the truth of the matter is everyone who got cast is someone who made an impact on the world after the show. And I think that's really what the truth of how you get, onto All Stars is by making a name for yourself and making people making them have to put you there, so I think that's the truth of how the casting went.
Yeah. So talk about your song that you got to perform on the show. How was that experience? And
That was so exciting. Me and my friend Andrew Barrett Cox worked together on Sweet and Sour, and we were very, very, very excited about it. I mean, I claimed myself as a rapstress, and Come Through has also happened. So, I have a quite successful rap career right now. But it was really, really cool to like get to write something like specifically for this. And it was really exciting to get to feel, like I was referencing all of my time on Canada's Drag Race and so many of my famous little lines that I wrote and things like that, a Lemon fan would recognize, and someone who watched Canada's Drag Race would definitely recognize. The Time to Get So Litty, I Slitty My Kitty, stuff like that, I think might have gone over some people's heads who didn't watch the first season. But it was super, cathartic almost to get to write about like my own experience then and like what I want now. So it's cool.
yeah. Are you going to do more appearances in the United States? You're based out of Canada still, right?
I am, yeah, but I like to think of myself pretty internationally. So I'm from Toronto, but I used to live in New York. My mom's Scottish, my dad's Portuguese. I mean, I really have a great portion of the world under my, big toe. So I'm thankful, and I want to do shows everywhere. I just want to be everywhere in the world,
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this last show now that it's over? What are your thoughts now?
On my show?
Yeah.
Now that it's over, I'm thankful. I'm feeling very relieved. I'm feeling very taken care of, and I feel so grateful for the fans that I have and for all of their love and support. There's change.com petitions going up saying get Lemon back on All Stars. So it's really cool. It's literally what I have been dreaming of for the past year, and what I've been praying for, and lighting my little lemon prayer candle and hoping that this is exactly what happens. So for this to be my reality now feels like I'm on cloud nine.
Oh, that's so great. I mean, you can tell you worked really hard. It's not like it just pop out like that.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing, is some people don't realize like how much work goes into drag and how much money goes into drag, and just simple things that people don't realize, that like, I was so, obsessed with the boots I was wearing during the performance, for example. And like, people don't realize I jumped off of a 4-foot box in a pair of $1,000 Swarovski rhinestone covered boots. You know what I mean? I'm like, most girls would never ruin those boots, but I had to, because it was part of the Lemon fantasy,
Yeah, I think people don't understand that. What advice would you give someone starting out?
The best advice I have for someone starting out drag is the best way to get booked is to be nice to people and be friends with people, because no one on earth, no one on earth will book someone that they don't like working with. You could be the most sickening performer of all time. You could be stunning. You could be hilarious. You can be perfect in every way. But if you're not nice to people when you're in the backstage, you will not be booked again. And that's period. So I'd like to believe that that is, at least part of where my success comes from, because I do work, on making sure that everyone feels warm and everyone feels taken care of. And especially, as one of the Drag Race girls, one of the Ru girls now, I get to do a lot of shows with like beautiful, incredible local performers in every single city. And it's important to me to make sure that they know, that we're all in this together and that we're doing the exact same thing, and to make sure they're taken care of when I do a show with them.
Awesome. So when do you come back to Chicago?
When am I coming back to Chicago? Oh, you never know. I would love to come back soon. I love it here. I'm a big fan of Chicago. I really am. I think the performers here are absolutely sickening, and I think that it's such a cool city to do drag in, because I feel like the artistic environment here is really strong, and the community of artists here are really supportive of one another.
Awesome. Well, we have to meet up whenever you come back. Where do people follow you, and where do you want?
You can follow me on Venmo at Lemon Gives You Life, and at PayPal at lemongivesyoulife@gmail.com.
Okay, got it. Financially
Yeah,
good.
that's the
And
best
then
place.
what about Instagram and social media and all that?
My Instagram is also Lemon Gives You Life. My Twitter is that bitch lemon. You can find me on Fortnite, that B word lemon. I'm everywhere.
You are everywhere. Amazing, Lemon. Well, it was great talking to you today. Safe travels.
Thank you so much. Mwah.
Okay, bye. Thanks.
Mwah. Thank you so much.
Sure.